Hi guys, this is episode 3 of Touch Mondays, where we keep it real and touchy, and
here's how to do it.
So today our moderator is a lovely Caesar. Take us through.
Thank you, Lily. So today we're going to talk about SRHR. First of all, what is SRHR?
Siri, Rihanna, Whitney Houston.
Thank you.
Oh, really?
Thank you.
Sexual rights, sexual reproductive health rights. I got it right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sexual
reproductive health rights. Yes.
Sexual reproductive health rights.
Guy, when you marry her.
Evil in descending order.
Anyway, so why do you think it's important? Why is it important for us to talk about sexual reproductive health?
Personally, first of all, I was trying to come up with a look, and you guys are just ignoring it. You know, I was just seated here and looking all shit and stuff, but it's okay. It's okay. I think it's important for us to talk about sexual reproductive health because SRHR encompasses way more than what we can imagine. Because it's a very beautiful thing if you come to think of it in its totality. Because we're talking about sexual health, sexual rights, reproductive health, and reproductive rights. So we're talking about the whole being in totality. And one thing I've realized about sex education. Sex education.
Okay.
You can take a villager out of a village.
You can take the village out
Can't take the bush out of.
I was in bush.
No.
You can never take the bush out of the guy. So, like I was saying, it's very important because sexual education has been packaged in a way which, when people talk about it, it's in a way our mothers can approve.
Yeah.
But you realize young people do not take that. We do not watch our into a shades, you know. But I was wearing them because the sun never shines for the real OGs. The sun never shines. It wasn't the sun never shines. Okay, like I was saying, like we need to give it a realistic experience so that when we're talking about it, it brings it in totality. Yeah, so that.
Also, I think that, it's so sad to be talking about maternal deaths, about neonatal mortality in the 21st century.
What's neonatal mortality?
I mean, to be talking about, neonates, these are young, infants who are being born, dying out of negligence, out of things that can be avoided.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, in our country right now, we have a very high rate of maternal death. Thanks to our First Lady, Honorable... our First Lady Margaret Kenyatta, who came up with Beyond Zero campaign to help to reduce the maternal, mortality. And if we're talking about these things, how do we prevent young mothers from dying due to, giving birth? These are things that we as Africans and we as Kenyans per se should be really talking about, even in the Big Four agenda of our President Uhuru Kenyatta. Yeah. So as we think about mortality and maternal death, let us also think about contraception. Let's also talk about sexual transmitted infections. The rate of HIV and AIDS is increasing as the days go by, especially amongst the youth, regardless of the fact that we have ARVs. So what's the problem really as young people? This is what we should be talking about.
Tell us. What do you think?
Actually, hata before niulize Kenya nafikiria kuna venye Lili alikuwa anasema na nilikuwa nauliza ukipeleka maybe to a young maybe someone who is in a school. What do you prefer, pregnancy or HIV?
Sisi watu watasema HIV.
Watasema pregnancy.
Watu wengi wanasema HIV. But guys, we want to hear what you think. Do you think most people of this generation would they either go for pregnancy or HIV? Just comment below what you think. Okay, well, I think me personally, the people I've interacted with, I think most people would say HIV.
Personally, from where I sit, I think pregnancy, because as a woman, pregnancy is something that is showing. But if I have HIV, that's between me and my maker and maybe my doctor. But pregnancy has been stigmatized, especially teenage and young adult pregnancy has been stigmatized in our generation and in our country per se. So you can really get comfortable being 21 and pregnant, but nobody really knows that you're 21 and HIV positive.
And you brought up something very interesting, which is to say that so most people fear being pregnant, and that leads people to go to things like abortion. And that, okay, we're not talking about abortion today, but
let's not go there.
But we're not going there yet. We'll have another whole segment just talking about that.
I think we should have
a whole video just talking about abortion. But then now you find that because people now are drawn to that, they're taken to that side, thinking about abortion, and because they do not have the right information on where to go for safe abortion, because I got to realize, Juicy, that not every doctor or not every healthcare practitioner is actually, they have the knowledge on how to procure a safe abortion. It's not everyone, it's only for those who've been trained. Now you see, people out here don't know that, so they just go to any healthcare provider and they probably get an abortion procured, and then it's unsafe, they get complications, maybe they never give birth again, and this just brings a whole complication to the entire issue. Now we are not able to achieve Vision 2030, because you see, when you look at the bigger picture, then we're not able to actually achieve so many of our goals even as a country. Okay, so Tuku, you're telling us something.
So Kaz and Lily, they were walikuwa nafikiria tofauti, so unacheki. So hapo sasa naweza sema you look at the things maybe long term and short term. So you look at maybe HIV, it's something, okay, I don't want to speak about HIV right now. Sitaki knowledge yangu ishe kwa about I'm a professional on that. And, look at something like abortion. Talking about abortion is very wide. We'll not talk about it today. But whatever we've heard from Lily and the cast should also pose a very big question as to how our society
views and perceives these things.
When the society yetu iko sahi, iko upside down. We have so many upside down priorities. Na sahi we want to deal with things in a mature way. Tusikize, and we are going to see in my youth, we know Kenya wase wanapitia. And some of us pia tumepitia vitu kama hizo, but
okay, you will tell us. But guys, remember, we were still waiting for your answers. Would you prefer a pregnancy or HIV? Like, okay, and I have a very serious question coming at this point. You've brought up a very important point that it's hard to be 21 na uko na ball. So tunaweza sema mtu mwenye ako 21 years na uko na ball is 21 and balling.
Guys, you also need to tell us if that joke is funny or not.
Because I've realized,
you guys are always looking for jokes everywhere.
No, I've realized we have a DJ here. Like we have a DJ. Okay, I mean dry joker.
I got jokes.
That's a dry joke.
check you good
Yeah, you see, I'm also funny. Anyway, so we're just talking about sexual reproductive health and rights. So how is it relevant to us as youth to talk about these issues, especially at this particular time? Why is it important? Why now?
Because you see, there are two methods of approaching this issue, and as you guys might have noticed, Fuku is a diplomat. This Sheng thing anadanganya. But yeah, so like there are two methods, the traditional and the modern method. And the traditional method is usually very subject-centered. So when people want to talk about, they only want to talk about that item, which is sex or whatever it is. But the modern modern approach that we're using is very person-centered. So I'm looking at you empathetically, and I see your situation. This is what you're going through. This is how we're going to go about it. The traditional ways, only experts can talk about it. But look at us, we're like diverse people, student leaders, youth, people who are in different professions. But we look at it from a facilitator's point of view. This is the experience I've had, this is the experience my friends have had. I would go with a whole list, but if I say the whole things, you would have to say,
Same on point. But anyway, I'm thinking why now? Why now? First of all, most of the things that we're suffering from as young adults and as young people in this country are sexually related. Sorry to say, because look at femicide, where we killing each other. You know, these are sexual, intimate relationships that have something at the end of it to do with sex. Also, look at the numbers of the increasing number of diseases that we're suffering from, stemming from cervical cancer to prostate cancer to HIV and AIDS to STIs. They stem down to sexual health. So I believe this is the point in time that we should be really talking about sexual health. And talking about sexual health, we have been talking about HIV and AIDS long enough as a continent, as a people, as a globe. But what are we doing behind the scenes to make sure that this HIV and AIDS, the numbers are actually decreasing? Because we will talk about HIV and AIDS as a condition, but we ain't talking about the root cause of HIV and AIDS, which 90% of the infections, I am not a statistician. I don't do statistics, but I will bet that the high number of HIV and AIDS infections stem down from sexual relationships. So why we should be really thinking about sexual health at this point in time, because let us treat the problem, not the symptoms.
Come on,
I can say girl.
Yeah, and also, in as much as people would say that these are things that have been talked of for a very long time, over and over again, probably, even we've been taught of the reproductive system ever since we were growing up, and probably teachers will just be throwing in one joke or two or some warnings, be like, don't do this, don't let your flower be opened, and
don't go and get deflowered. We'll talk about flowers. We'll talk about
beautiful flowers.
So
lilies.
And I realized that in as much as we're talking about this, the information has not reached everyone. What makes me say this is because this is totally unrelated to this, but it was to do with rape, and I was dealing with a rape case, and this person comes to me 3 days later. Guys, this is someone who's in uni. 3 days later, they want to be helped. They've already showered, as in all the evidence is that we can't do anything at this particular point. By the time we're going for PEP, 72 hours are over, they can't be given. And I think it's very important for us to really look at this information. So we've talked so much about SRHR. What are the where can we get this information? What are some of the sites that we can look out for if we have any questions? Probably we can't exhaust everything in this.
Being a social media generation, I believe that most of us have smartphones. You can go to Google, you can look for ORG, you can look for pink shoes, you can look for safe to choose. I think you can also look for Find My Method. Find My Method. Just look for these sites where you get more information. We'll have the description below.
We'll post the links in the description box.
We'll post the links. So if you have any questions, you can look for the links. You can also inbox us. You can ask us any question that you feel related to sexual health. We're here to help you, and we're willing to do it.
Thank you so much for watching, guys. This is Touch Mondays, where we keep it real,
keep it touchy, and here's how to do it. Don't forget to subscribe and like Benny below. And
subscribe, guys.
Subscribe. Thank you so much for your time. See you next Monday.
Bye.
Bye.